Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Red Sox Digest. I'm your host, Jim Delfino, and if you suffered through tonight's Apple TV Plus broadcast of the Sox-Yankees game, congratulations. You made it through the cinematic equivalent of watching paint dry just in 4K. Joining me tonight is Nick Face. Nick's the kind of guy who, if the Red Sox had won tonight, would already have been 10th degree PowerPoint ready on why Boone's bullpen choices are criminal. He hates losing so much, he treats every Yankee run like someone insulted his pride. And if I could see his phone right now, I bet his timeline is full of caps lock tweets about defensive lapses. But hey, tonight being at Fenway, he might have felt a little vindicated if the Sox did enough to make the Yankees flinch.
Only to you, Jim.
Also joining me tonight is Nick Diamond. Nick Diamond is quieter but deadly. He doesn't need to yell to make you see the errors. He catches every subtle shift, every pitching change that looks like a panic move. If the Sox starter had a shaky second inning, Nick's already saw it coming, scribbled in his mental notes, then sat back with popcorn. He's like the observant umpire whispering to himself, "You're about to regret that pitch call." And if the Sox held the Yankees to a few hits, Nick's nodding like he just won an argument he predicted weeks ago. Let's get into it. Your Boston Red Sox are now 81-67 and 3.5 games behind currently the first place Blue Jays in the AL East, which means mathematically we're still in it. Spiritually, after tonight, feels like this team already booked October tee times. First inning, Lucas Giolito on the mound, and who else but Aaron Judge steps up and immediately launches a ball into another galaxy, dead center 468 feet. Apple TV Plus kept cutting to 37 different camera angles of it, like here's the homer from the blimp. Here's the homer from the GoPro we duct taped to a seagull. Thanks, Apple, we get it. The guy hit the ball into space. Maybe next time you could zoom in on the Red Sox and how they did with their offense. Oh, wait, there wasn't much. Because, folks, through 7 innings, the Sox had one hit. One. At Fenway Park. That's not a baseball lineup. That's a Tinder profile with no pictures. Hi, I swear I'm interesting. Swipe left. Louis Gill of the Yankees carved us up like he was on Iron Chef. 6 shutout innings, barely broke a sweat, and at one point, he looked like he was deciding between striking out Nathaniel Lowe or ordering DoorDash mid-inning. The defense? Oh, you better believe we sprinkled some classic Sox errors like Parmesan cheese on tragedy. Hamilton with his sure-handedness, and then your monthly catcher's interference by Carlos Narvaez. Oh, and the one bright spot, Nate Eaton goes yard in the 7th, solo shot. Fenway finally makes some noise, but of course it's 4-1, so it's basically like throwing a pool noodle in a forest fire. So here's the bottom line. Yankees 4, Red Sox 1. The Sox offense was non-existent. The Yankees looked like adults at a Little League game, and Apple TV Plus once again proved they could ruin literally anything, even baseball. Seriously, I'd rather watch this game on a cracked iPhone 4 streaming pirated Nesson from some guy's basement in Revere. But hey, series isn't over yet. Sox still have a chance to bounce back tomorrow. Will they? Who knows? But at least I know this. At least we're done with Apple TV Plus for this season. And now, let's start off with Nick Face's Word of the Day.
And now it's time for Nick Face's Word of the Day!
It's right here, folks. RASPBERRY. My drink that got me through this pathetic excuse of a baseball game tonight. My flavor is raspberry. I've always had a thing for the raspberry. I don't know what it is, but it just is. That was disgusting, guys. And I sent a message into our group about how it's being September 12th. You're in the middle of a playoff hunt right now. You are up against the team that is neck and neck with you basically here in this wild card berth. And you put David Hamilton in your lineup. You have Masataka Yoshida in your lineup. You got Nate Eaton in your lineup. What are we doing? What are we effing doing? It is inexcusable. It is insufferable. I'm done. I'm done watching this. I've had it. This is not a playoff team. I don't know how many more times I have to say it, but The 2021 team at least had players I could watch. They were talented. They had people I could sit down on my damn couch or my recliner and enjoy a baseball game with. You know what I got most of my excitement from tonight, besides my high noon? Joe Castiglione was back broadcasting on EEI. That was my big exciting Friday night. It is disgusting. I can't believe we have people out there falling for this sorry excuse of a baseball team. There's no Roman Anthony. You got no Rafi Devers. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's been pretty pathetic. Nick Face's Word of the Day is brought to you by the New York Yankees Museum of Recent Championships. Admission is free because, well, there's nothing new to see. Just dusty trophies, faded Polaroids, and the receipt from Giancarlo Stanton's contract. Nick Diamond, your opening thoughts and reactions to tonight's pisser.
Well, offensively, they're just not equipped enough to win games at the moment against good teams without Roman Anthony and without Wilyer Abreu. They're running out 3 or 4 guys that are not good enough to be in the major leagues. I know Nate Eaton had a great game today, had a home run, had an outfield assist, so you can qualify that as a good game, but he's not a major league player in the long run. So David Hamilton, those guys should not be in the lineup every day, and they're getting everyday at bats at this moment. And they're costing us games. Like Nick Face said, David Hamilton was an awful error at second base. You brought up the Carlos Narvaez. He should have had 2 catcher's interferences today, so that's pathetic as well. That needs to be taken care of because that can't happen at the major league level. That's something that happens in Little League. That stops in high school. Like, you don't even have that in college games anymore. Catcher's interference is not a common thing, and it's common for the Red Sox catchers this season. I don't really want to put blame on Lucas Giolito. I actually think he looked all right. He kind of gave him a meatball home run to Aaron Judge. He got screwed on the Carlos Narvaez catcher's interference. I don't think he looked that bad compared to his last 2 starts, at least. I think he was pretty good, but he didn't do enough to win today. So I'll blame this one on the offense. But if they don't get Wilyer Abreu or Roman, Wilyer Abreu will probably see back eventually. But without Roman Anthony, this team is probably not equipped enough to win baseball games in October.
Yeah, I just don't think they have the offense to be able to compete. Whether or not they still squeak in or not, we'll get into it later in tonight's show. But the bottom line is that it's really looking really grim when you've got an infielder, outfielder, backup Nate Eaton in right field, which is the hardest right field in probably all of Major League Baseball to play. Starting off with a little bit of the positive, I'll start with Lucas Giolito. Nick Face, 5 innings, 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. The biggest issue was the Aaron Judge home run. You know, I'm a firm believer. I always say, look at your opposing lineup, identify the 1 or 2 guys that you can't pitch to, and don't pitch to them. I think that's what they should have done tonight. Your thoughts and reactions?
Yeah, I don't know why we pitched to Aaron Judge. I don't understand the philosophy. I don't understand the approach. Give him 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye. Don't let Aaron Judge beat you. Just don't. And they let him do that. I know it wasn't just Aaron Judge, but I don't have an issue with Lucas Giolito. I never really had. Command was fine. He didn't walk the ballpark. I didn't have an issue with anything. Lucas Giolito was far from any of the issues on this team.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I mean, he's been a breath of fresh air ever since, he's found his way with, I mean, I don't know if it was Connor Wong or not, but he kind of all of a sudden is our dugout coach, the way he's been. Same question to you, Nick Diamond. Lucas Giolito, what did you see tonight?
If you want to dive into some positives, if you go back to his last start, he had 5 total swing and misses, 0 on the slider. Tonight he had 14 swing and misses, and 9 of them were on the slider. So that's where you kind of see the difference in the two outings. The slider was way better today. The fastball velocity is a little down, but I really don't care. A guy coming off of surgery who hasn't pitched in a while, he's getting up there in innings. So I really don't care about a 0.5 mile per hour dip in the fastball. But yeah, I think he was good tonight. It's offense. That's the reason why we lost. I think he actually looked good compared to the last 2 or 3 outings for Lucas Giolito.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Lucas is fine. You want to believe that with him, Bayo, and Crochet taking their turns at least 3 more times, 8 more outings between the 3 of them, you got to hope that they can scratch and claw into this playoff race. Just want to start talking about the negatives. Of course, Aaron Judge crushing the Red Sox. We kind of already briefly talked about that. 2 runs, a home run, 2 walks, and an RBI. Nick Diamond, what did you see from Aaron Judge tonight?
He's the best hitter in baseball. So, I mean, like you guys said, I'd probably put up the 4. I guess it's kind of cowardice to walk him in the first inning. But, it's Aaron Judge. He was going to hit a home run there. He's going to beat you at least once, probably more than once this series. So I'm totally fine with just putting him on base and forcing someone else to beat you. I know Giancarlo Stanton kind of rakes at Fenway Park, but besides him, I'm not really scared of anyone else in this lineup. Jazz is going to do something stupid. He's going to get himself out on the base pass if he gets on. So, yeah, it's Judge, it's Stanton, and that's it in this lineup. I'm not scared of anyone else. So make someone else beat you.
Totally agree. Kind of like my opening take, find and identify the 1 or 2 guys and just don't pitch to them. I don't think it's cowardice at all, Nick. I mean, the bottom line is Barry Bonds had a whole career doing that, and it was just fine. So, I mean, when you've got people that are managers are walking Barry Bonds with the bases loaded, I mean, it's just one of those things. This is not the Aaron Judge that we saw weeks ago, when he was coming kind of like having a little bit of an injury and, they were kind of have his way with him at Fenway Park and even in Yankee Stadium. This guy's back to being the Aaron Judge of the early part of the year, and that kind of concerns me. Nick Face, your thoughts?
Well, this is one of the reasons why I was concerned about this series going into it, is when we faced the Yankees from before, it was without Judge or getting Judge back when he was banged up, trying to figure himself out again. So this is why I looked at this series and said, I don't think that this is going to be a sweep. I think it's going to be a struggle here. And so far I'm right, because I didn't think the Red Sox would show up. And lo and behold, they did not show up here tonight. This was another punt game. This is I don't give a crap. We're just going to move on to the next one and see what happens kind of game. For Aaron Judge, I agree with Nick. He's the best hitter in baseball. When he's healthy, that's your difference. I wish the Red Sox had something like that. They don't have 1 ounce of a hitter that scares the crap out of me in their lineup. Nothing. At least you could say back with Devers, he had some sort of a notion that he could go deep or he could give you something. There isn't one batter 1 through 9 that can do anything consistently. And going into a playoff run like that, if you look back at 2021, you had JD Martinez, you had Devers, you had Bogarts, you had proven commodities. You have right now nothing. And don't come at me and say you got Bregman. Bregman sucks right now. SUCK sucks. And you want to give him $40 million next season? You people need to get your head examined, because something's up with that right now too. Whether he's banged up or whatnot, but he needs to step up to the plate too. I don't want to get too critical with him because he's had a great season and all when healthy, but overall, the team needs him. Where the hell are you? Step up.
Yeah, you made some good points, Nick. I look at it as this. When the Red Sox of 2004, those years, even in 2018 with JD Martinez, Rafael Devers, they don't have the guy that is due up that makes you say, I'm going to not go to the bathroom right now. I'm not going to go get a snack or something to drink. I need to watch this at bat. They don't have that guy. Roman Anthony was kind of showing already in just 30 or 40 ball games that he was becoming that guy. But to your point, they don't have a guy right now that'll make you stop doing what you're doing and watch that at bat. And that's a problem for the Red Sox.
Jim, you could take a legitimate dump on your toilet for 3 hours and not miss a damn thing.
It's like a soap opera.
I'm sorry to be disgusting when I say it, but it's the goddamn truth, folks. You could take a legitimate dump for 3 hours and not miss a damn thing.
Yeah. So moving on with Roman Anthony. Red Sox are now 3-5 since his injury and on pace for 5-9 to finish the season. The Rangers have to go 9-5 to overtake the Red Sox. We'll get into a little bit more of the wild card watch a little bit later on in tonight's show, but I just want to get your initial reactions, 30 seconds, Nick Diamond, on what this means. Can they hold on without Roman Anthony?
They probably can hold on, but I don't expect to win anything. It's just right now they're still ahead of the Mariners. They still have a better record than the Astros. So those are the two teams that are behind them. One of those two teams will get jumped first. And I just think there's not enough games to completely fall out. But right now, I think no matter who you play in the playoffs, it's over after 2 or 3 games. You might win a crochet start, but besides that, I don't see the offense producing enough runs against a good team. I really don't. Against a good starter with a good bullpen, this team's going to score 1 run at most. Luis Gil didn't even look that good tonight, and he shoved it up our butts. Like, he walked the bases loaded a bunch of times. Like, not a bunch of times, but he was walking guys. He had no command, but we couldn't hit anything from him. We have 2-3 major league players in this lineup right now. They need to get guys back. I don't think Roman's coming back. Willier's probably going to come back and stink because he's been out for a month, and he's not going to get a rehab assignment. So when he comes back, he's going to be just as bad. So you got, 14 games left to hopefully win 5 or 6, and I think it gets you in. If you go 4 or 3, then I think that's bad. And then you're probably going to be out if you win 3 games. So I think 5 is the magic number. In my opinion, if you win 5, you're probably in. If anything less, I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, we'll get into it just a little bit later. The bottom line here is that they just don't have the offensive thump to be able to compete, late into October. And to your point about the pitching, I mean, scoring 1 or 2. I mean, unless Crochet throws a shutout, you're in a lot of trouble. That moving a little bit along tonight, Nick Face, Brennan Bernardino was put on the IL today. Your reactions to this? Does it mean anything at this point to this team? I mean, or is this just, chop liver?
Well, they lost their opener, guys. Can't do that anymore. That's what I thought of that when he went on the IL. So you're gonna have to suck it up and go to something else. What that is, I don't really know, but it's whatever. He wasn't really. I mean, they got Steven Matz. They've got other guys to fill the spot. It's a depth piece that goes down. It's a depth piece that I enjoyed and I liked and I thought could be somebody you could count on if needed, but it doesn't really. I'm sorry to see him get injured at the worst time of the season, but in all fairness, this really impacts your opener, whether that's going to be the Tolley start or whatnot. It impacts that more so than anything out of him going down.
Nick Diamond, your reactions, 30 seconds. Compared to bringing in Chris Murphy again and Steven Matz and stuff, are we losing one of our better left-handers in the bullpen?
I mean, I wouldn't call him one of our better relievers, but I think it's really weird. This is something I've noticed over the last 2 years when Breslo's here. He really hates Bernardino. Last year, he left him off the opening day roster. He kind of keeps sending him down and up, and he's been performing well. I think he's been one of the most consistent, reliable relievers over the last 2 or 3 years, and for some reason, Breslo's just not into him. So I think that's very strange. Do I think it impacts the team? Not really. I think it's another chance to bring a righty up, which they probably need more.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It's time for Dugout Dipshits.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Dugout Dipshits.
Today's Dugout Dipshits, I want to start with David Hamilton. David Hamilton needs to go. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I've had enough of this guy. He cannot play baseball. Rushes a throw to home, which causes Narvaez not to be able to handle the ball well. Bobbles the ball in that later innings. Nick Diamond, your reactions to Hamilton?
We've said it all year long. He stinks. It's time to just get rid of him, cut ties. I know there was teams interested in him over the offseason. I think that's the reason why they won't cut ties with him, because they don't want to admit they made a mistake in not trading him. But it's time to. They have other options. I know Romy Gonzalez is a little banged up, but I think Nate Eaton can play second base. I think other guys can play second base. I'd rather have Christian Campbell at second base, and he sucks at second base. David Hamilton provides no value. He's fast, and he can't even run the bases well. He can't play that great defense. He threw the ball around today. He's booting balls. He's just not good. He doesn't do anything well. He can't bunt. Why is he still on the roster? If he can't steal bases in the ninth inning against the A's, then why are you on the roster? There's no reason for him to be on the roster. Other guys do your job better. And I'm looking at Nate Eaton. He's fast and he does the job better. And we've all trashed him too. He's nothing special. That just shows you how bad David Hamilton's been this season.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be probably the worst major league player on this team. I mean, I'd rather actually take Nate Eaton over him. Nick, your reactions?
Boys, give me another noon, please. I don't know how I'm going to stomach this segment with another segment on David Hamilton. Just drive him to the airport. Just take him. Get him out of my life. I've said it how many times now? And yet he still continues to get starts at second base. Alex Cora's BFF, the cat with 9 lives. I'm more like 9,000 lives. He just keeps on giving, keeps on doing all kinds of crazy crap, makes errors all the time, can't hit, can't do anything right. All three of us here, we could take a glove and we could go play second base and we could hit in the lineup better than him. Guaranteed it. You book it now. We could. But
I think a cardboard cutout of David Hamilton at second base probably would do a better job.
I completely agree with you. I take anything. Just get him out of our life.
Dugout dipshit number 2, Carlos Narvaez's bad night. Again with the catcher's interference, we talked about it. The dugout dipshit though is Alex Cora tonight, who was on with I think Heidi Watney talking about the catcher's interference, and said, we talked to him. We're going to get better. When does the talking start, Nick Face? Because you've got Jason Varitek in that dugout. You've got Alex Cora in that dugout. When does this get better with Carlos Narvaez's defense?
Oh, you just struck a nerve, Jim. You just struck that nerve. And here it comes. Get ready for it, boys. Jason Varitek is a terrible in-game coordinator. Terrible. He is not a good coach, because if he was good, we would see a change. We would see catchers doing their job. We would see in-game decisions being done right. That's his job. And a lot of people preach that he's the next guy up as the manager and everything. Not for me. I've seen enough to know that if something happens with Cora and if the Red Sox go the Varitek route, it is not going to be successful. It's not. The talking has started and kept on going since what? 2020? 2021? And it's in this ear and it goes out the other. There is no applying any of the knowledge that anybody spews out of their mouth to fix themselves. Case in point tonight, Jarren Duran. Whoop. Whoop. Again, that's just what they do. They don't listen. They don't apply any of the knowledge to fix themselves or what they got to do to stop making these same mental mistakes. They don't do it. And it keeps on happening time after time. I am so sick of it. I'm so done with it. We need a professional person that can come into this organization to fix what's going on in the clubhouse, but also with this team to make sure they understand consequences. If you screw up and you make an error or you make something, there's a consequence for that action. Don't make the same mistake twice. I don't know how many times I have heard that in my lifetime. And I actually listen. I try my best not to make those same mistakes twice. I try my best to understand what I did wrong, how I can fix what I did, and be better. And these guys don't do any of that. None of it. These are professional major league players, and nothing happens. I feel like I have to scream, and I'm tired of myself screaming because nothing happens. They don't fix it. I wish we got at the deadline Sean Murphy from the Braves. I really do. Another pros pro who's a catcher who gets it and understands fundamentals and gets and we wouldn't have to deal with these catchers' interferences and all this kind of crap weekly. This is weekly problems that we deal with. But this is the Red Sox. This is your organization. This is what you got. So I guess put your seatbelt on and watch.
I wouldn't even mind trading for Shane Langoliers from the A's if there was a possibility. Nick Diamond, your thoughts on Carlos Narvaez? I also want to ask you, with what you've seen here with him and the drop off, is it possible he could be a trade piece this offseason?
I'll start on the bad night. I think it's kind of what Nick Face said. I think this is more of a Red Sox issue than a Carlos Narvaez issue. If you go back to a few years ago, Reese McGuire had this issue. The Red Sox have 9 catcher's interferences on this season. That's 3 more than any other team combined. Like they have the next closest team has 6, so that's a big difference. So I think this is a Red Sox issue. Carlos Narvaez is coming out of his stance too quickly, especially on steals. He's popping up, kind of reaching over the plate, and that's why he's getting to hit it. He should have had 2 tonight. He really should have had 2. Stanton hit his glove, and somehow Aaron Boone didn't get the challenge off in time, and he would have had 2 tonight. So that's something to look at. If you think we should trade Carlos Narvaez, if we had Kyle Teal still, I would 100% would have, been totally fine with let's dangle Carlos Narvaez out there and look what we can get back for him. But with the Red Sox catching depth, I think it's kind of stupid to do that right now. What are you going to go in with Connor Wong and Ali Sanchez next year? I think that's just making it worse. So I wouldn't trade him unless you have a backup plan, and that backup plan better be better than Carlos Narvaez, because if we go into the season, I think catcher is the most important position out there. If we go into the season again without a catcher, because when we came into this season, we had no idea that Carlos Narvaez is going to be even serviceable. We thought it was going to be Connor Wong and then a backup guy that's going to hit 198 with 2 home runs. That's what I thought Carlos Narvaez was going to be at the time. So I expect this is better than I ever expected out of him. So I don't think it's I don't think it's a 0% chance he gets traded, but I would be kind of disappointed if they traded him just coming out where their depth is at that position.
One more
Yeah, I'm just yeah, sure, Nick. 1 second. I was just thinking about the possibility of, with a lot of moving parts this offseason, and it's going to be something that we'll talk about as it progresses with obviously Bregman and Story with the possible opt-outs. Just wondering if you could kind of supplant their possible loss with a more offensive-based catcher like Langoliers, like Sean Murphy, which then would allow you to move Narvaez as a chip for somebody else. It's just kind of like an outside-the-box thinking. Nick Face, go ahead.
I also echo what Nick was saying again with the organization on how they're setting Narvaez and Wong up in the box. This is to try and get a head start on guys that are trying to steal a bag, or they're trying to get themselves squared away so they can get the ball caught at a quicker rate to try and maybe if it's strikeouts or pick up signals or something like that. It's a gamesmanship piece that the Red Sox are trying to get their catchers to buy into and get their organization. They think that they've found something, and that's why we've had so many catchers interferences. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. I don't understand what they're trying to prove, and I don't understand what they're trying to do here, but it's embarrassing. Catchers interferences are embarrassing, and it shouldn't happen. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah, I think I've seen more this year than I have in 40 some odd years of watching baseball. That's how ridiculous it's gotten. So let's start with our new segment, obviously, because we just got a couple weeks left. Wild Card Watch.
And now it's time for the Wild Card Watch.
So, talk a little bit about where we're at so we can kind of let our fans and listeners know what our situations are up against here. Obviously, with the loss tonight, our chances dwindle again. The Rangers did win. Blue Jays also won, and Seattle, I think, is just getting underway not too long ago. That being said, start with you, Nick Diamond. What are your reactions to these next few games? Where do you see the Red Sox going? What do you anticipate their record to be, and are they still going to get in?
I think if you get to 87 wins, you're in. So we're sitting at 81 at the moment. If you get to 6, that would mean the Mariners would need to win 9 to pass you, and the Rangers would need to win 10 to pass you. If the Rangers win 10, they deserve to get in.
Well, I think the Rangers, if they win 9, they pass you because they got the.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They
But
got.
do they have the tiebreaker with the Seattle Mariners? I don't know. I
We
think
have
it's
the
gonna
tie.
be weird because
Yeah.
do we have the tiebreaker with the Mariners?
Now it's 3-3. We talked about this earlier this week, where you went to interdivision. I think after that
Yeah.
is that. Yeah.
So that would still come down to we brought it up because the Mariners had like one more win than us interdivision or something like that. So it could be like a 3-way tie. You win the games you can. You got to win tomorrow. I know the Red Sox, they kind of get dominated by Max Fried. I know that's going to be a tough one. Brian Bayo has pitched well against the Red Sox lately, but you have to win crochet starts. If you win every crochet start, I know that's something you brought up, I think the last time we were together. If you win every crochet start, you should get in. If you win 4 crochet starts and you find a way to win 2 or 3 more, you're in.
Nick Face, your thoughts about the remainder of the season, where they're going to fit in, and so on.
I said on Wednesday's show, I want this team to make the playoffs. I've said that all along. I'm going to change my tune here tonight. You are going to hurt yourself in the long haul if you actually limp in to the playoffs. You are. You're not going to change the philosophy here on the organization if you limp in. John Henry's going to keep doing what he's doing. He's going to be cheap. He's not going to open up his wallet to players. You're going to still see Pete Fatsi as your hitting coach. Jason Veritek will still be there as your in-game manager, guru guy. You're going to keep getting catcher's interferences. David Hamilton will still continue to play second base. Jaron Duran will keep swinging out of his you-know-what at every pitch. Guys, I'm done with it. I'm done. I don't want them to win. I don't. You're hearing it here first. I don't. I want them to lose. And I want them to lose so they get a hold of this organization and get back to Red Sox winning baseball. I am so tired of being a pathetic excuse of a baseball club. You are the Boston Red Sox. You are a team that has the most championships since 2000. You got your 04, 07, 13, and 18. That's more than any other club. And you are playing down to your competition, and you are letting other teams and us fans be embarrassed constantly from your sorry excuse of a baseball club you're putting together. You know what? I don't really care if I'm being harsh on it. I don't really care if people think I'm out of my mind when I'm saying it. You will not change your team if you limp in. A pathetic excuse of a team right now. You have nothing on your roster in a lineup that can get the job done. And I want to see, and you want to think playoffs are coming? And it's going to be okay if you get 85, 86 wins? I don't, guys. I don't. I appreciate what Crochet's done. The pitching staff, at least for Giolito and Bayo, I have no issue with what they've done. I'm very happy with that. But this lineup sucks. Flat out sucks. They never did one damn thing when they got rid of Devers, and now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. I don't want to hear at the end of the season, oh, we tried, we came up short, because you never improved your ball club. Your deadline sucked. You didn't do a damn thing to help your team. And this is the reasoning why I'm here saying, you know what? If management doesn't care, then you know what? I don't care. Because I'm done. As a fan, if this is what you want to throw out there, I'm all set.
Nick, go ahead.
My argument with that is I still think it's very, very important for the Red Sox players, these young guys, to get experience in the playoffs. I need to see a Brian Bayo start in the playoffs. I want to see how he performs. I want to see how he handles it. Even if the Red Sox are going to go out there and get crushed. I don't think they're good enough to win the World Series. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to win the World Series at this point. I think they need to get in. I think they need to get these guys some experience. I think the lineup's going to suck. It's going to suck. But I need to see Brian Bayo get his experience in the playoffs. I need to see a guy like Wilyer Abreu get some at-bats under his belt. I need to see how these guys perform. I want to see the young guys get a chance because I don't think they're going to be totally away from the playoffs. I agree with you on how the organizations run. I think they're going to be. I don't think they're ever going to go for it again like they have in 2004 and 07 and like that. But I don't think they're a terrible team going forward. I think they have the talent to make the playoffs in the next few years. So I think it would be important for them to even at least get a taste of it. I know Roman Anthony's really the guy you want to get a taste of the playoffs, and he won't be playing, but it'd be nice to get him in the dugout, see how it's like. You know, I think it's important to get in. I don't want him to miss out.
So I'm going to be a little bit of both of you guys on this take. For many years, 22, 23, 24, I've been basically railroading the Red Sox. And of course, everybody comes at me constantly on Twitter and says everything about me under the sun. And I've said before, the reality is I want them to win. I'm tired of losing. But it all starts with ownership. Putting the right product on the field, which they have been failing to do since 21. They've been failing to do even before that, to be honest with you. And that's what's got me upset. And people say you're not a Red Sox fan. I'm more of a Red Sox fan than most of these jackwagons that are on Twitter. But the bottom line is this. I want them. Part of me wants to see them lose because they didn't do enough again yet for another season. And let me explain where I'm coming from. You went out and got Alex Bregman. You went out and got Crochet. You got Narvaez. You did this work. You brought in Walker Buehler. And you're at 81 wins. You're at the same, right now, as of today, you're at the same amount of wins that you were last year. The rule of thumb would probably say you're going to be a few games more, but with all that you did, you're only going to wind up being 5-6 games better than last season when Bayo wasn't as good. Giolito was on the shelf. You had no Crochet. You had no Narvaez. You're only 5 or 6 more games. Bregman wasn't here. So you're only going to be about 5 or 6 games better than that team last year that we bashed to hell. I don't know if that does say much about the 2025 team. To Nick Diamond's point, earlier in the year, I would have agreed 100% with Nick Diamond because I would want the young guys to get their taste of postseason play. The problem with that is the guys that really need the experience aren't going to be here. Roman Anthony's probably not even going to play. And if you don't make it past the first round, he's definitely not going to play. Marcelo Meyer's not going to get a postseason at bat. Christian Campbell is not going to get a postseason at bat. Tristan Casas is not going to get a postseason at bat. Bregman may be gone. You need a third baseman because your other third baseman is in San Francisco. Story may opt out. Who's going to play shortstop next year? Who's going to play second base next year? Is Tristan Casas going to be healthy to play first base next year? You may have a completely 100% different infield next season. Jarren Duran getting postseason at-bats, he's got a couple more years left. He is not part of the future of the Boston Red Sox. If he was, they would have signed him to an extension by now, and they're not going to do that because he'll be a free agent at 30. He'll be a free agent at 32, 33 and not worth the investment.
I'm also
Rafaela, that's your only guy. Maybe Abreu, but I still see him as a trade piece somewhere in this future. I just do. So there may be 1 or 2 guys now that remain that could benefit from postseason at-bats. I think that's the maximum. So I've said this over the offseasons the last few years, and I'm going to say it again. This offseason is going to be a lot of trouble. So they better make sure they get in to appease some of these fans, because if they don't, you watch, and we'll be talking about it all offseason. They got a hell to price to pay. Giolito will be gone. You're going to need starting pitching. And let me tell you something. if these showcases by Tolley and Early are Breslow's way of saying in the offseason, we don't need to sign a $100 million pitcher because we've got these guys. And if they fail, you're in a lot of doo-doo. Final thoughts, Nick Diamond.
Walker Buehler threw 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks, and got the win tonight with the Phillies. That's my final thought. Would be nice to have him in this rotation still. That's weird to say, but I would like to have him over a bullpen game. Or, I mean, I guess Dustin May is gone now. But, yeah, Walker Buehler, I'd still like to have him for some reason.
So is that a Walker Buehler problem or was that a Andrew Bailey problem?
Probably both.
And I say that because I'm
looking
not
at the underlying stats, it doesn't really look like he pitched very well, but he got the job done. So I think it was a little bit of both. I think he's cooked. If you want to be honest, I don't think he's got much left in the tank. But I don't think the Red Sox are doing very much to help him.
Nick,
I think it was known that he didn't like Andrew Bailey. I think he went to a different pitching coach during the All-Star break, so that was known. That's something out there.
Nick, really quickly, I don't have it up. How many pitches did he pitch, and how many left on base from Kansas City?
He threw 90 pitches, 59 strikes. Let me see how many left on base.
I knew this was going to happen with I freaking knew it.
While you're looking that up, Nick Face, your final.
They left 7 on base throughout the game. So I don't know how many just for Buehler, but 7 total.
Just on the Andrew Bailey, on the Walker Buehler front, Walker Buehler did not like Boston. He did not like being here. He did not like Andrew Bailey. This was a lot of mental problems that were going on with Walker Buehler. And I'm not surprised that he goes out to the Phillies and throws his first game, which was a quality start. That's what that qualifies as. He'll probably be fine with the Phillies, believe it or not. I wish that this is what we got here, but you didn't. And you could use him right now, which is stunning to have to say that. My final thoughts are, I think the Red Sox will take 1 game over this 3-game series. I think they'll get Sunday. I do not see them winning tomorrow. Surprise me. That's my key phrase I'm going to keep saying as this season ticks on here. Surprise me. If fans don't like my take, if players don't like my take, heck, maybe there are players that are watching our little Red Sox Digest pod right here. Put my head up on the dartboard, say this idiot doesn't know what he's saying, and prove me wrong. I'll be happy as a clam. Go right ahead. I only call it as I see. And right now, this is not a playoff team. This is 2011 collapse that I'm seeing right now. I don't want that, but this is what it is right now.
Yeah, it very well could be. My final take, they're going to get swept by the Yankees, all 3. And the reason why is because I think Fried is going to pitch much better than Bayo, and they're not going to hit. And as far as Sunday's concerned, it's a typical Alex Cora Game 3 potential lineup. And the Red Sox, for whatever reason, I can't put my finger on it, do not do good on Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, historically have not done well. So I have no faith in that game at all. I just don't see it. So I think they're going to get swept, but that's just me. So I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I'd like to thank Nick and Nick for being on the show tonight. If you don't already have a subscription to our website, go to RedSoxDigest.com. That's RedSoxDigest.com and sign up for a subscription for our free newsletter and some other options there as well, including Thayer Doyle's Fenway Flashback, highlighting the 1975 Red Sox season. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night as we're going to do the entire Yankee series. And then we'll let you know about the schedule for Sunday and next week.
This is what